Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam The Sands of Time. It's action and adventure in ancient Egypt in this terrific teen time travel romance. Get your copy of E-Steam The Sands of Time at your favorite online bookseller today. Recently, Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Shigura has decided to resign from his position as CEO of Warner Brothers after accusations surfaced that he pushed for Charlotte Kirk, an actress in her 20s, to get roles at the company's productions of Warner Brothers film and television shows. Now, this revelation of your Kevin Shigura going out here and getting roles for Charlotte or actress like Charlotte Kirk, this is nothing new for a company like Warner Brothers, and it is nothing new for Hollywood overall. Because what your Kevin Shigura was doing at Warner Brothers was no different than what your Les Moonves was doing over at CBS. And with your Kevin Shigura, a 54-year-old married man having an affair with Charlotte Kirk, an actress in her 20s, this also proves that what's been going on in Hollywood as related to these actresses trading sexual favors for parts, this is something that has been going on ever since the inception of Hollywood and continues to go on even in this so-called era of Me Too. And the only reason why your Kevin Shigura is stepping down after having this extramarital affair with Charlotte Kirk is because this decision to have this affair and try to get this woman roles would paint your Warner Brothers in a negative light, because your Kevin Shigura, after the $85 billion merger between Warner Brothers and AT&T, was set to helm the children's programming division over at Warner Brothers. And as the head of that children's programming division, having a man who was involved in an extramarital affair would have put a black eye on Warner Brothers, who expected this Kevin Shigura to play a significant role in AT&T's streaming business, because that was the core reason why they picked up the struggling studio in that $84.5 billion deal. Now, when it comes down to this Kevin Shigura, again, he was the CEO of Warner Brothers, and he was supposed to be put in charge of Warner's media division, a media division that I feel that is going to be in quite trouble, because in addition to your Shigura having an affair, they also decided to hire your James Gunn to direct your Suicide Squad reboot. And it shows, again, a very troubling pattern as related to Hollywood and Hollywood's business as usual, because these powerful men in Hollywood, it seems like they are not stopping with this behavior in spite of these scandals that have taken and destroyed the careers of people like your Harvey Weinstein, like people like your Matt Lauer, and like people such as people in Congress, like your, not Congress, the Senate, such as your Al Franken. So all of these men, they have had their careers destroyed, but they still continue to go out here and have these extramarital affairs. They continue to have these side pieces, and this continues to go on. And even though the Me Too movement continues to try to turn the narrative on black men, it seems like every time they try to turn that narrative on black men, it boomerangs and then goes right back to white men, or in this case, a prominent Asian man. And the reason why it keeps going back is because when it comes down to the provider of resources overall, it is usually these white men who are the ones who provide the resources to these black entertainers that they're trying to make the villain in the picture, but when in actuality, it is these white and Asian men like your Kevin Shigura who primarily are the ones who participate in this business of trading sexual favors in exchange for parts. And your Kevin Shigura, again, this was a major surprise because
most people would look at this man and not think of him as the type of man to actually trade sexual favors for parts. But when we look at this man right now, and after these revelations, it just proves that this is business as usual for Hollywood, and that in today's Hollywood, all what's happening is what's been done in the dark is now coming to light, and as it comes to light, it paints the true picture of what has been going on in Hollywood since its inception. So a lot of people, they would sit there and get upset and lose their mind when they heard about those revelations about Bill Cosby. But I find it very interesting how everybody is so quiet over a married man like Kevin Segura, the CEO of Warner Brothers, getting caught in this scandal where he was having an affair with actress Charlotte Kirk, and then using his prominent position to go out here and help this woman go out and find roles at his Warner Brothers studio division. And the reason why I believe he, again, was doing that is because this is what these executives have been doing since the inception of Hollywood. They have been going out here, having their wives and having their families, and then they would take these actresses and they would get them on the casting couch. They would make them side pieces, and then as these women were side pieces, they would go out of their way to find them work in the entertainment industry. And that's how these women primarily got most of their work and most of their roles. But in the mainstream media, what they would do is change the narrative and then make it look like these women are sweet, innocent females, and these good little white girls would never do anything wrong, when in actuality, they are the ones out here breaking up marriages, wrecking homes, and they're doing this, again, all because they want fame and attention. And this is what they want to bury in the mainstream media, and that's what they're trying to do right now. Because when I read this New York Times article talking about Kevin Segura, the language was not as sensational as it was for your Bill Cosby, nor was it as sensational for the recent allegations made against your Michael Jackson, or even the allegations made against your Brett Kavanaugh when he was getting confirmed for the Supreme Court justice. And the reason why the narrative was changed was because, again, this Kevin Segura gets a big pass from mainstream media when he was out here having this affair with this actress. And again, it just shows that even though we are in this era of so-called Me Too, that business as usual is still continuing to go on here in Hollywood, where these actresses and aspiring starlets and casting couch women are still trading their bodies in exchange for parts. So the whole campaign to so-called stop sexual harassment and sexual assault, nothing is going to change. Even though Kevin Segura may be leaving Warner Brothers, the next man who takes that CEO position, he will then go out here and then participate in trading parts for sexual favors. So when it comes down to Hollywood, they sit there and they say that Me Too was supposed to stop this, when in actuality, it hasn't stopped anything at all. And this scandal with Kevin Segura losing his job at Warner Brothers shows how little regard your Hollywood has for the moral positions they promote in their divisions, like the division where Kevin Segura was supposed to be in charge of, the family and children's division. Here was a man having an extramarital affair and then having sexual misconduct to get exchange his sexual favors for parts, and he's running the family division. And this is the same Warner Brothers who talks about, again, having a family division on AT&T streaming service, yet this same company has hired James Gunn, a man who made numerous sexually inappropriate jokes on Twitter, to direct their Suicide Squad film. And it clearly shows that the moral position of Hollywood is a deeply troubling one, because in this Hollywood, it's clear that these people are depraved, and as depraved as they are, all they want to do is continue getting on with business as usual and not understanding how their business as usual promotes hypocrisy, because they say one thing and then they do another, and that's the thing that it really troubles a lot of people regarding these situations. Because I look at this whole situation with Kevin Segura, and it's a deeply troubling one, because it shows that, again, in spite of all of the entire year of this Me Too movement, nothing is changing in Hollywood, because the same trading sexual favors for parts is still continuing to go on, and it's still continuing to go on in spite of all of this fanfare. And as I said before in another video, it's going to continue going on, because this has been the business of Hollywood. It continues to be the business of Hollywood. And this is what the big problem is with Hollywood. And no one wants to change it, because everyone continues to benefit. And all they're going to do is just shuffle the players and continue playing the exact same game. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, subscribe. The ISIS graphic novel Indiegogo is live. Help me publish the first comic book featuring the goddess next door by putting in a pledge today.